Hello friends, welcome back to the next session on Service Operations Management. Now let's begin with our learning. In this particular session, we'll be understanding and dealing with service quality and customer satisfaction in a hotel industry in Vietnam, a case study. The learning objectives. At the end of this particular session, the learners will be able to identify and assess what do we mean by service quality and what is the level of customer satisfaction, or understand through a case study. And lastly, describe the service quality and customer satisfaction issues in the case of hotel industry in Vietnam. The overview. So at the end of this particular session or during our presentation, we'll understand what is the overview or introduction of the case, what is the case study with respect to the service quality and customer satisfaction, and a sample case study of hotel industry in Vietnam is being undertaken. Now let's understand what is the background of our study and let us understand what is the case all about. So in this particular case study, a case observations with respect to the cervical model is being undertaken, and the people or the customers who are visiting the Vietnamese hotels on those particular consideration, a cervical model was being implemented. This particular model was being undertaken in order to identify that what is the customer satisfaction level of the individuals in the business consideration. So when a particular customer visits a certain hotel, then what is how long or how probably he is satisfied with the services that have been provided, and which includes the 23 services questions, and accordingly it was divided into 5 service quality dimensions. So based on the cervical model, the 5 quality dimension questions were being asked to the customers, and the assessment of the customers was being undertaken as to their customer satisfaction level. This particular case study was being implemented in Vietnam, and hence it is called as a Vietnamese hotel modeling case study. This particular study was undertaken in the year of 2013, and data was being gathered from 432 guest and 33 three-star hotels in Vietnam. So the sample size was the sample selection of this particular guest is 432, and all the total hotels which are available in Vietnam, 33 three-star hotels was being selected. So, according to the findings, reliability and responsiveness, assurance and empathy all have a substantial influence on the customer satisfaction. So, based on the 5 factors of the cervical model, it was observed that the reliability, findings, responsiveness and assurance and empathy, everyone is having a frequent impact on the service that is being provided, and the customer satisfaction level that differs from product to product, hotel to hotel and guest to guest. And according to the findings, it was been also observed that service quality is significant driver of increased customer satisfaction. So better or greater the service, there is more customer satisfaction, which can increase the reputation of a business organization or the firm that we are dealing with. The empathy, reliability, responsiveness, and assurance would be the emphasis of the managers in order to attain the high level of customer satisfaction, which ultimately leads to the customer loyalty and ultimately increases the profit in the business organization. Now let's understand what is the problem that has been associated with this particular case study. This particular case study has adopted the cervical model, and it has always perceived to try to identify, that is, what is the quality of a certain product, what is the impact on its customer satisfaction, and what impact is being created in the Vietnamese hotel industry. For this particular consideration, a framework with the comprehensive questionnaire was being considered, and accordingly 21 question items was being asked to the customers. So the customers who are been staying on the Vietnamese hotels, a questionnaire was being circulated to them, and various feedbacks or responses from them for the hotel or the service industry or the service they have availed from those particular hotels was being collected, and various 33 three-star hotels was taken for this particular study. The research also has demonstrated that the service quality is a strong driver or for the customer satisfaction force. And among the 5 quality dimensions, 4 intangible dimensions represent a major impact, wherein the tangible dimension is only one perspective. So when this particular case study was being undertaken, the various research with respect to the UK holiday market of the NKC et al. Of 2013 was also being implemented. In the same fashion, the cervical model was being implemented in the year 2003, and accordingly, the impact on the service quality, customer satisfaction level on the basis of questionnaire that was being prepared was being calculated. So these particular cases is also considering the scenario which was applicable in UK in the year 2013 and currently in the 2013 era of the Vietnam. Now let us understand what is the analytical framework of this particular case study. So the analytical framework of this particular case study major try to focuses on the cervical scale. So the cervical scale is of 5 component factors in which the service quality is being assessed by an organization. And there are various assessment tools on which particular basis the assessment of a service quality can be identified, either for a hotel industry, for a catering industry, for a food industry, for the manufacturing industry, and so on. So Cervical model can be applied to any industry, and a certain extensive research has been shown that this particular study is applicable or used since 1988, 2012, 2011, 2013, and so on. So Cervical model has been widely used for the research purpose. The cervical scale was used in this particular study, that is the current Vietnam case study model, in which the hotel industry was taken as a part of a sample. With the various minor modifications, and the identification of perceived service quality was needed to be assessed. And hence, the link between the service quality and customer satisfaction can be directly associated with the help of cervical model. So always, when we deliver an effective service to a customer, the quality of service automatically increases, and it helps to create the brand value for a certain product in the organization. Now let us understand what are the various considerations of the cervical model. The various 5 considerations of the cervical model are reliability, assurance, tangibles, empathy, and lastly the responsiveness. So only on those particular basis or consideration, the cervical model can be very effective, and we can identify and see as to how the better and qualitative product can be delivered to the customers. In terms of the reliability, how reliable is the customer while purchasing our product and services, and how he is reluctant to purchase the goods and services. The assurance focuses on what we are trying to actually deliver to the customers. In case of a certain organization, we always try to assure to the customers that their satisfaction level will be highest and greatest when they purchase the product or the services. So in this particular case, the assurance level should always be at the maximum level, and we must always try to identify and deliver whatever goods, services that are being committed by the organization. In terms of the tangibles, along with the intangible, which is a part of an service, we must always focus on the tangibles, that is the takeaways and deliverables to the customers. The takeaway and deliverables to the customers are in part of certain tangibles, and these particular tangibles only identify what quality of service we are delivering to the customers. A customer, along with the intangible as a part of a service, always believes in what tangibles that he is having as a part of a takeaways, and he always considers a part of a service quality. The empathy, so the association, the communication, the coordination, and how we are connected with the certain product, with the certain customer services, and so on, also plays an important role. So empathy is essentially important to identify and assess as to how the product can be considered in a better extension. The last or the fifth consideration with respect to the cervical model is the responsiveness. That is, based on the service that has been delivered, based on the responsiveness of the customers, one needs to identify as to what considerable he is trying to possess or consider in a certain organization as to get associated with a certain product. So the greater the association with a certain product, the more he is considerable and affordable while purchasing the products or goods and services and commodities. And hence, responsiveness is essentially important. Now let us understand how this particular case study was being implemented. So in the first phase, involvement of conducting the product trials and exploratory research was being undertaken. So the company ran into the product installation time trials with a beta's new product and services, and accordingly the current purchase decision and installation preferences was being undertaken. So in a particular hotel industry, the various preferences of the customers was being undertaken, and the product trials was also being implemented, wherein the exploratory research as to the part of consideration as to how does the customer adopt a particular product, what are the various frequent decisions that he's been undertaken, was also being considered. Now this particular diagram focuses you, or the particular chart makes to understand you what are the various cervical model that can be used in a certain consideration. The various factors that impact the cervical model is the word of mouth communication, the past experiences, and the external communication. And all the factors that get affected with this particular consideration is the personal needs, the expected service, the perceived service, the service delivery, the translation of perception of information into services, and lastly, the management perception of customers. And all these particular gaps are of a median in which above this lies the customer and below this lies the service provider. So the customer is also aiming and focusing on the various communication, the needs, his want, desire, and the past experiences which have been associated. And the service delivery or the service provider focuses on how he can deliver a better service to the customers, the perception of this interpretation of the service quality, management perceptions, and the external communication. So from those particular consideration, the cervical model is essentially important. The case sampling. So in terms of the case sampling, it majorly focuses on the empathy as a part of a major constitution. So empathy, which refers to the providing customers individual attention, understanding what does the customer actually need and how we can have the positive approach toward the feedback that he has provided. So that plays a very important role in order to understand as to how we can deliver and provide effective qualitative service to the customers. And empathy is a part of a consideration as a part of a fourth factor wherein the cervical model we are trying to establish. So in case of a particular constitution, this particular research, various research that was being undertaken in Bangladesh in the year 2012 was also been identified and a cervical model was applicable in that particular country also. So a case study with respect to the Vietnam, it focuses on the research that has been undertaken in UK and in the research that has been undertaken in Bangladesh also. So now let's understand what are the various conclusions of this particular case study. The cervical model which has been used and implemented in case of Vietnam, it always focuses on the various service quality components. The service quality components as to the product, aesthetics, empathy, responsiveness, reliability of a certain product plays a very important role, only on which basis the loyalty of the customers can be created and we can continue the healthy relationship with the customers in the long run. And hence, the service quality model is essentially important. The information that was being gathered through a comprehensive study of the customers at the 33-star hotels in Vietnam was very fruitful, and accordingly, the various findings was having a substantial link between the dimensions of service quality and the client satisfaction. And apart from this, significant impacts of image, promotion, marketing was also been observed. So, based on the what marketing or promotion strategies has been taken, how do we deliver an effective services to the customers? All those factors matter in a greater extent, and accordingly, cervical model is also essentially implied and used by the various organizations. Simultaneously, in addition to being a marketing element, service quality acts as a significant driver for improving the customer satisfaction level and businesses that provide the various amounts of services. So ultimately, the services plays an important role, and whatever service that we are providing, it should always be in a qualitative nature. And when that particular services are of qualitative nature, we try to aim and see that how those particular quality services are in a qualitative nature, and it will help to create a long lasting and continuous relationship between with the people and with the customers. Thus, the finding of this particular research and the case study shows that the service quality is a key determinant in identifying the customer happiness and customer satisfaction, which ultimately leads to the customer loyalty and revenue for the hotels. So if we want to increase the revenue for a certain hotel or for a certain industry, we must try to show that the effective qualitative service has been delivered to the customers and they are always happy and satisfied with the service that we are providing. Apart from the various intangible as a part of a service, we must always focus on tangible products or goods and services and commodities, and accordingly certain products should also be delivered to the customers. Now, as a result of this, service quality should be prioritized both in the academic as well as practical operations. So may it be a small scale organization, maybe it be a large scale organization, service delivery to the customer is at most important. And when there is an effective delivery to the customer service, it ultimately creates revenue for a certain business and it creates a good brand image in the business environment or in the fraternity. So now let's summarize what we have learned in this particular session. In this particular session, we have understood what do we mean by the term service quality and what is the meaning of customer satisfaction. And lastly, we have understood what is the importance of service quality and customer satisfaction. And these particular things we have understood with the help of case study which was implemented in the hotel industry in Vietnam. I hope you must have enjoyed the learning in this particular session. We have completed with this particular module. We'll stay connected and continue with our learning. Thank you so much for your patience listening. Thank you.